Good morning and welcome to Elevate Your Wellbeing Contagious Care. Hey, today is our 61st session and it's lovely to be with you. Please click on in if you can. Let me know that you're here. It's always wonderful to know who I'm speaking to. So we have been looking at a lot of things that elevate our well-being, that enable us to bring contagious care to others. And today we're going to look at 5 tips for creating great morning routines. Remember, we've been looking at over the past habits that we can break and habits, really good habits that we want to encourage in ourselves. And so today I'm going to focus on elements of starting the day well. Hello, Alita, and hello, Margaret. It's great to have you in here. And just put in the chat box as you come in, what morning routines have you created that have really worked well for you? It's great to share this in our community. So creating a great morning routine, and next session I'm going to be doing evening routines in a fortnight's time. But today, this morning routines will significantly change the quality of your day and the quality of your life, your whole life. So what morning routines do you already have? What specific things do you do before even getting out of bed? Or routines that you do straight after that? Just put them in the chat box. What things might have crept into your morning routine if you're experiencing COVID lockdown right now? Or if you're in Kiama, we talk about it as COVID lockout. We're locked out from a lot of the other part of the world that we're used to interacting with. So would you agree that we need to take responsibility for our day? Just put yes in the chat box if you think it's our responsibility to actually make sure that our day goes to the best of our ability that we can create. Just put in the chat box yes or no if you agree with that or not. Who of you are parents? Put yes if you are. Put yes in the chat box if you instilled certain morning routines with your children as you were raising them. Routines right from, when they were 1. What routines did you instill in them in the morning? Do you think they'd still be doing them now? Good question, as they might be teenagers, they might be young adults, they might be 40 or 50. What morning routines do you think your children still might be doing that you helped them create right from the beginning? Margaret's saying prayerful thanks before stretching. So 2 things there. Thankfulness, gratitude, and it's actually 3 things. Praying about that, giving thanks to God, and also that movement, that exercise. So yeah, keep on adding them. William James said it's our attitude at the beginning of a difficult task which, more than anything else, will affect its successful outcome. And I believe that, I apply this to my life in terms of starting my mornings, because for me it's always been a really difficult task to actually just wake up. When I was a child, I remember having to get up at 5:30 in the morning for swim training at 6 o'clock. And it was so difficult. I just wasn't an easy waker-upperer. And all the way through adulthood, it's been the same challenge. So much so, I've chosen pajamas to state my case. It's interesting. Unconsciously, I've chosen pajamas that say, can you read this? I don't do mornings. I don't do mornings, okay? And so I advertise that on myself so that John can remind himself not to expect too much of me in the mornings. Okay, not a great. I just so wish I could wake up with him. Wake up. I do wake up with him, but wake up all bright and sparky like he does, and all of a sudden his brain's into gear. Mine takes a little longer. I even felt proud, I remember, of being a night owl. Okay, a night owl. Why was I proud of that? Because I was so lousy in the mornings, I guess. I'd write my best uni essays in the wee hours of the morning, and they're the ones I'd get my A's for. Somehow, things have changed since then, and if you want to have successful mornings, you need at least an hour, if not 2 hours sleep before midnight, the research shows, and you need to plan your day the night before. Planning is key. Here are 4 habits that we often get sucked into. I call them the 4 N's. Let's be honest here. Put yes in the chat box if your morning starts with any one of these things. Often we start the day with news and it's negative at the moment with COVID. So we'll start the day with news or negativity, notifications and noise. And we start our days with these 4 N's, and that brings on with these 4 N's, N for noise, negativity, notifications and news, and that brings on struggles in our heart and mind often for the rest of the day. But instead you could fill your own cup up with constructive, rejuvenating routines first thing in the morning so you can overflow onto others throughout the day. Alita's saying that she has a quiet time, then a shower and ready for the day. And that quiet time, that space of reflection is really, really important. So even amidst difficult circumstances or interactions throughout the day, if we start our day off with these 5 important tips that I'm going to give you this morning, you'll have more power to respond to any challenging interaction or incident like a driver cutting in on you. You'll have more of a respectful attitude, such as, it's okay, I wish you well, or as John says, Merry Christmas, even if it's not, rather than, a frustration, you absolute idiot, So you'll create more of a gap between the stimulus and the response, which brings you to a higher level of moment by moment well-being if you can focus on these 5 things. Now, it's in the framework of time, and if you think about the alarm clock going off, all of a sudden straight away you think of time when you wake up. I want you to think of something different, but I've done it in the acronym of TIME so that it will help you remember. I just always find that helpful, an acronym, so I've done it for you too. So let's look at time. And so that's only 4 key tips, TIME, and it's thankfulness, intention, meditation, and exercise. But I'm going to do 2 I's because I think these 2 words starting with I are really important. It's not just intention, it's inspiration. Okay, so let's look at the first T, that of thankfulness. So starting your day with a grateful thought. There's much research being done on this, and if you're having a grateful thought, you can't be in anxiety at the same time. So thankfulness brings you out of worry and out of anxiety. It immediately brings you into a state of calm. The first thing I do before getting out of bed is to state to myself 3 things that I'm really grateful for. I then thank God for those blessings. It's just a simple prayer where I thank Him for those blessings because it likely more likely than not, God has given me those blessings. And so it can range from anything that I'm grateful for, range from, my relationship with John to the soft pillow I've just slept on. And there's two types of thankfulness. It's acknowledging it in your relationship with yourself first. For example, with a gratitude journal or stating it out loud in the morning. And if you are thankful to God, to actually let him know, since he could have created those many things you're thankful for. And then the second part of thankfulness is similarly verbalizing that thankfulness to the actual person you are grateful for. It's interesting, I made a commitment about 20 years ago now to thank every person I came across in my life who was doing a job that, just in my opinion, would be a really hard job to do. So, for example, I remember at Central Railway Station years ago, I thanked the lady for cleaning the toilets, and she wept when I just simply went up to her and thanked her for what she was doing. She said nobody had thanked her in the 15 years that she'd had that job. And another time I was racing up Bathurst Street in Sydney again, late for an appointment. But I stopped because I kept this commitment of mine to show gratitude to people who were doing what I thought were really tough jobs and that I wouldn't personally want to be doing day in, day out. And so I stopped to thank this street cleaner. And he also had never been thanked. And he thought I was actually cracking onto him because it was such a weird thing for me to stop in my tracks and thank him. And needless to say, it made his day, but it made my day as well. It makes our day seeing people being lifted up and encouraged in what they do for us and the whole community. And when gratitude is personal and specific, it's received with much more love and power. It transforms the giver and the receiver. So if you experiment with this and do this every day to somebody different, you'd be amazed at how it lifts people's spirit and yours. These flowers that are just here, they were given to me on the weekend with somebody who just wanted to show gratitude to me, but it was such a lovely surprise. It was, when I tell you, you'd be surprised too. We just had friends over for lunch. They're newcomers to town. We just wanted to welcome them. And she had offered to bring something. And I said, no, just bring your lovely selves. And she came to the door with her husband with these gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. And there wasn't any need to do that, but she was just showing gratitude for us welcoming them into town. So it's the simple things, the unexpected, the unanticipated things that really mean so much. And gratitude, if you start the day being grateful internally for things, you will naturally express gratitude to others throughout the day. And you might ask yourself, how can I make the choice to be thankful when all my circumstances might be up the creek? Put in the chat box any tips you've come up with on this. If you're feeling up the creek, if your circumstances are up the creek, how have you managed to make a choice to still be thankful? Let's use the resourcefulness of the group here. And if you're on the replay, just press #replay and share what you have been able to do when through tough times, which is what we're going through now. What have you been able to do to rise above that and still make that choice to be thankful? You see, when we're disappointed or down or discouraged or depressed, our focus becomes on one thing. And I'll show you with this illustration. If we look through, just with a simple, pretending we've got a telescope here, okay? I look through and I just see one thing, okay? I don't see the whole perspective around me and in the future in front of me. I just see down this narrow cylindrical point here, and that just dictates then what I see for the rest of the day if I'm only looking down a narrow perspective. So, like the telescope, what do you see? Alita's saying she looks for the positives in the situation. Well, in order to look for the positives, you've got to look beyond where you're at just right now. It's another way of describing this. And I'll just ask you, what do you see on this page? Just put your answers in the chat box. What do you see on this page? Simple answer. Just put your answer in. What do you see on the page? So, yeah, it's a dot, isn't it? And that represents, it could represent just one thing like disappointment, those 4 Ds, the disappointment, the discouragement, the feeling down or depressed. You just look at one thing, the dot. But, you know, if I only focused on my disappointments right now, or the things that make me feel a little down, like I can't see my children right now, they're all out of the zone of, they're all in lockdown, I can't see them, and so I can't see our children and our grandchildren. I could focus on that dot of disappointment. Where am I? Here. I miss them like crazy. But look at the whole big page here. What else is there? There is the whole page. I have 3 beautiful kids and 2 grandchildren. I could focus on the fact that I even have them in my life, which is a wonderful joy. You see, it's all about what we look at. We have a choice to be thankful for all of the blessings, all of them. The bigger perspective that we have in our life outside of the disappointment. The whole picture, to be able to see the bigger perspective, the whole picture rather than just the dot. So you might want to close your eyes for a moment and just reflect on the bigger picture of your life. What else can you see rather than just the circumstances that are hard? And put those things that you see in the chat box. The things that are bigger outside of you. Now, the next thing you want to start the day with is inspiration. You can eye for inspiration. You can choose into all sorts of inspiration daily. You can learn something new. You can listen to the countless podcasts that are out there now. I know from your feedback, many of you have been inspired by watching these live videos and that I've put here, and many of you just will catch the replays as you're walking or whatever and text me afterwards and say how much you've gained from that. And I truly value that. That's just a wonderful inspiration to me that you're receiving benefit from them. And so you're choosing to be inspired by actually going on Facebook Live to see these different topics, and you're inspiring me by getting alongside me and tuning in and engaging with your comments. So choose what inspires you and tune into that stuff. Alita's put cupcake, so tell me about that, Alita. I'm not sure whether that's the positives of what you're grateful for. I'd be grateful for a cupcake. So what are you learning that's inspiring you? How are you choosing to do that at the beginning of the day so that you can be inspired then throughout the day and being reminded of what you chose to be inspired on in the beginning? It might be just reading a quote in the mornings. I try to set aside time in the morning to just have a quiet time and read something from the Bible that I find really inspiring. It might just be 2 verses. It's the time of reflection that counts. There's so many apps you can get out there with inspiring quotes. And here's a quote from Oprah Winfrey that shows the power of focusing on thankfulness, what we've just focused on. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. So see, it's all about what you focus on. When you're overthinking or procrastinating, get inspired. It will change your trajectory. Alita's saying the doc looked like a cupcake. Well, how about that? So you're focusing on positive things even through my little dot. Love that. Now I'm hungry for a cupcake, Alita. So what is inspiring to you? We're all different. The other I for the time acronym, the other I like to choose to start the day off with is my intention. Setting a daily intention, again through research, and in my book, the Elevate Your Wellbeing book, it looks at the power of setting intentions, and it isn't a to-do list. It's choosing an attribute on how you will be today. What type of person do you want to be today? It might be to be more focused, or to be reflective, or to be caring. And we need to make it in the present tense. I do this before I get out of bed, otherwise I'll forget. So it's like, for example, today I chose to be curious. What does that mean? What does that mean? How will I be curious? So you want to say, I am curious in the present tense. I am curious, not I will be, future tense, but the present tense. I am curious. That's your intention for the day. And how will I be curious? It will be listening more, not being defensive, asking more questions, desiring to learn and not having to be a know-it-all. They're the how-tos of my intention to be curious. And the next one, M, is for meditation. What does meditation mean for you? In a word or a phrase, just put it in the chat box. What does meditation mean for you? Meditation is actually switching off our distractions and checking in with yourself. So you might want to ask yourself, what can I do to be kind to myself, to allow for more calm and reflective practice? If you're in lockdown, how might you be able to harness your happiness from the inside, from deep within, when you can't go outside right now? So how can you give power to your family and loved ones if you're not doing these things for yourself and having some meditation in the morning? If you don't bring that stillness and calm and peace and love to yourself. So I'm going to give you a guided meditation right now that will just help you. It's only going to be for a minute or so. And so just as we go into this, Margaret has talked about Kiama's beauty, especially the harbour and birds busy in the majestic trees. And you can just hear some crows now as you close your eyes and listen to this so that you can tune in to yourself, cutting out any distractions. Feel ease and comfort and stillness and peace. Breathe in and feel your stomach go out. And as you exhale, feel your stomach come in. Focus on bringing your smile to your feet. Now bring that smile upwards to your calves, to your knees, to your thighs. It's a big smile. And as you breathe in and keep focusing on your breath only and the smile as it reaches up to your stomach. And if that breath just keeps coming in and out, if you get distracted, just put that aside and come back to the breath. Bringing your smile upwards to your chest, to your arms, to your shoulders, letting your shoulders be relaxed, allowing that breath to inhale all the goodness in life and exhaling anything that no longer belongs there in you. And bring that smile up further to your face now. It's a beautiful big smile that reaches your ears as you grin and up to the top of your head. And as you breathe in, it's the energy that refuels you, empowers you. And as you breathe out, it's the energy that drains you. And now as you continue that breathing, set your intention for why you're here in today's session, or you may like to set your intention for the whole day. Visualize your purpose. In a word, what is your intention? Is it calm? Is it peace? Is it effectiveness? It might be to be more whole, or refreshed, or giving. And as you continue with that, visualizing that smile on your face, tell yourself you're exactly where you're meant to be right now. I'm not ahead. I'm not behind. This is my time. I am ready to learn, to grow, to heal. I'm ready to give. I'm ready to love. This is my time. Take time to enjoy that huge smile on your face. And when you're ready, in your own time and in your own pace, come back to this place now where you are. And when you're ready, just slowly open your eyes. Alita's saying she's happy. That's lovely to hear. How did that meditation make others feel? How was that experience for you? So whether you're here on the live or on the replay, just click #replay and let me know how you felt through that meditation as well. And it didn't take long, did it? So that's the M that's really important in the part of time before you even get up you can choose that to do that while you're still in bed, or you can create a nice, safe place in the special part of your home that might not be your bedroom. Wherever you do it, just take time out to do that. It's interesting, one of the chapters in my book that I co-authored, Elevate Your Wellbeing, the first chapter is written by Benjamin Harvey, and he's written this chapter on meditation, and he's looked at a lot of the research and the scientific part of meditation, and he enables people to actually meditate their way to well-being. And his chapter is called Authentic Happiness, and he provides the research behind the effectiveness of meditation on the brain and on the body and on the soul. And it's powerful. I've learned a lot from this man, and he's one of my mentors. And you can read this by just logging on to my website and buying the book from there. And so I'm just going to read a quote for you. He's really given us a lot of interesting facts here about meditation, and that will help you get into it when you know the power of it. They biologically tested meditators and non-meditators and found that a non-meditator on average is about 2 to 3 years older than their biological age, while a meditator is 12 years younger than their biological age. And it doesn't have to be a spiritual practice if you don't want it to be. It's just a way of getting more out of your brain and your body. So I really encourage you to look at that. He gives a wonderful explanation and research and the scientific data on it, and then helps you to do the practicalities of meditation. So what's the next one? I'll put a link in the chat box for you afterwards for those of you who don't know how to get onto my website to buy that book. So Margaret's saying it was reviving. Thanks, Margaret. I'm glad that it was. And you'll find the next part of the TIME acronym, reviving too. The last one is exercise. So if you can remember Mary's talk last session, it's so important. What do you remember learning from that, first of all? It's always good to recap what we learned. What did you learn from Mary's session on exercise? You see, moving in the morning is essential. Who of you has a dog? Just put yes in the chat box if you've got a dog. What's the first thing they do in the mornings? The first thing a dog does. We have Sasha, our golden retriever, and without fail, before she does anything else in the morning, she stretches. She does this beautiful, powerful stretch with her 4 front legs and her hind legs, and it's this magnificent stretch. If you can bring that into your life in the mornings to energize, awaken, and enliven. One of you said that you have a shower in the morning, a cold shower, or just not a really hot shower. Hot showers are great at night, but just a cold, or just not, just a cooler shower to revive and enliven you. And that clears your mind. But a stretch and movement, whatever form it takes, by going for a brisk walk or just a walk, it will allow you to clear your mind, enliven your every part of your body, and to wind up for the day, and or down, whichever you need at the time. But 10 minutes of exercise can give you a complete reset. So a lot of people working in offices right now, from home, and who are used to being in the office or whatever your work environment was, create buffers now of 5 to 10 minutes between meetings, especially if you're on Zoom the whole day, because if you're working from home and don't get that natural exercise moving around your normal workplace, you'll need to create a buffer just to do some quick exercises to get your heart rate moving, which will then get your brain activated. So see what exercise you can inject into your mornings within the first hour of waking, and you'll notice the difference. So let's summarize the above time words. What are your thoughts from today's session? What has resonated for you? Just put in the chat box. Because if we build these time habits of thankfulness, intention and inspiration, meditation and exercise, if we build these time habits in the morning, we'll be more calm and peaceful and centered and grounded for the rest of the day. So I encourage you to make a decision to take action. Acting on the above, you've already won the day. Which particular time word are you going to act on immediately to inject into your morning routine? Just pick one thing to do at a time. Why? Because small steps create big progress. So until next time, enjoy your mornings and be courageous, life-giving, and let your light shine.